Hi, Miss Huddle.
Hi, Mrs. Sexton. How are you today?
What are you doing?
Well, I'm just ringing in the new year with some multiplication.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
So for homework tonight, was it tonight or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
For homework tomorrow, I was just kind of studying. And it says 3, and then we always say that this is rows of. And that just makes it easier for us to remember. So this is 3 rows of 7. So 3 rows with 7 in each. So I started to build an array, but then I got nervous because I'm not really comfortable working with my 7s yet.
Yeah.
And, you know,
That's true. We haven't really practiced counting by 7.
No, and so I just kind of wanted to kind of reach out for some help on that.
Okay. Well, one way that we can do this problem, Ms. Huddle, is by splitting up our array into 2 separate arrays.
What?
So we can...
Here.
Ms. Huddle, are you comfortable counting your 3s?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah? Okay. So let's split our array down the middle here.
As close as we can to the middle, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
And then now, instead of having 3 rows of 7, I have 3 rows of how many over here?
3 rows of 3.
All right, so we have 3 rows of 3. And over here, what do we have? 3 rows of...
4. 3 rows of 4. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, so what we did was we took the 7 and we broke it apart a little bit.
Yeah, we broke up the groups of 7 into groups of 3 and groups of 4.
Wow.
So now, what's your 3 rows of 3? How many is that?
3 times 3 is 9. And 3 times 4 is 12.
Good. So now you can add 9 and 12 to get your total.
So if I add one more from here to make a 10, 21.
You're right. So that tells us that 3 groups of 7 is the same thing as 3 groups of 3 and 3 groups of 4.
Wow,
And
Mrs.
that's
Sexton,
21.
what is this?
Well,
called?
we just used something called the distributive property. And it can help make more difficult multiplication problems a little bit easier. And it also helps us to really understand what is happening when we are doing multiplication problems. So it is one of the 3rd grade math standards now. So we are working on the distributive property.
So I know that I have to add these 2 together because in the same way that we are adding 3 and 4, we're adding the product.
Yeah. So our parentheses are just a way for us to separate each group, so each part of the array. The most confusing thing about the distributive property isn't so much using it, breaking our array apart and solving the problem, but it can sometimes be the notation, these parentheses and all of the different symbols and signs that we see.
That's right.
So maybe we should show them one where we start with the parentheses and the symbols.
That'd be great.
And work through that one.
That'd be
next
great. Let me move this
All right.
over.
So we will show you that.
Should we do one that's on the homework or a different one?
Yeah, let's do one of the ones that's on the homework. Okay. So that first one that we just did was on Tuesday's homework. Not drawn out as an array, but using the symbols. But we'll show you another one just like it that has the whole equation written out.
Ooh.
So that says 8 times 10. But I don't like to say 8 times 10 because it doesn't really tell me what's happening. I like to call it 8 groups of 10 or 8 rows of 10. And then the equal sign I like to think of meaning is the same as 7 groups of 10 or rows of 10 plus another unknown, some more rows of 10. So Ms. Huddle, would you start by drawing the total? Which one is the total? The known total is 8 groups of 10.
Groups. 8 groups.
So would you draw out
I would love to.
Groups or 8 rows of 10?
There's 8 rows. With, I'm going to do X's if that's okay.
Sure.
8 rows of 10 in each.
is at a weird angle.
Kind of looks like the American flag. I wonder if there'll be a same number of stars.
Well, do you know how many stars are on the American flag, Miss Huddle?
Mm-mm.
Do you know what 8 times 10 is?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the number of states we have?
Mm-mm.
No. We apologize for the shaking camera. It takes a long time
It
to
looks
draw
like
out some
Meow
of these
Mix.
arrays. But remember, you can use any different shape to make an array. You can do X's like Miss Huddle's doing. You can do dots. You can do circles or stars or squares. Whatever is the quickest and the easiest for you.
All right, so 8 groups with 10 in each.
Great, perfect. So we have 8 groups with 10 in each group. So now this problem says that we we distributed or split our array into 7 groups of 10. So let's partition our array.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 groups.
So let's draw a line. All right, so we have 7 groups of 10 as one part of our array. And then how many groups of 10 make
Just
the other
one.
part? Just one group of 10.
Because I know that this is made up of 7 and 1.
Yep, perfect.
Okay, so I like to count like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. So it's the same thing as, sorry I keep spinning it, but just to write 70 plus 10. So that's one group
of 10.
One group and 7 groups. Oh,
So that
wow.
tells us we have 80 altogether.
80 X's in our array.
Yeah, so you drew more X's than there are stars on the American flag.
I sure did.
Great job.
Do we want to present a challenge?
Sure, let's just,
Perhaps.
sure.
All right, because just because Miss Huddle's, getting it, I want everyone to get it along with me. So, what if I said that? Ooh, I want to make it a little bit hard.
Okay.
Can I
make
do
it
that?
a little bit hard? Yes.
Okay,
We have very smart scholars. So.
we sure do. Well, I like 4 times 9 because 9 is pretty hairy, scary,
Yeah,
and I
9's
really
hard.
don't feel comfortable working with that. But I do feel comfortable working with 4s. So I'm going to say 4 times 9 is the same thing as 4 times 5 plus 4 times some number. And then I want to know, well, I guess we don't need that there. So with 4 times 9, we're distributing the 4 across. And I want to know 4 times what? Plus 4 times 5 is the same thing as 4 times 9.
Perfect. All right, scholars. So if you can bring that in and show us, we'll be super impressed.
And you'll definitely get a teacher high five.
Definitely.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Sexton.
You're welcome. Thank you, Miss Huddle.
Bye.
Bye.